the Havdalah ceremony. Besides for the wine and the candle, we also have a custom of smelling spices, fragrant spices, known as the besamim. Why the spices? And how are the spices associated with the conclusion of Shabbos? We're told that as Shabbos enters, every Jew is granted a neshama yesera, an additional soul, which remains with him or her until the following evening. The extra soul enables us to be more spiritually sensitive and more in tune to our own real self for the duration of Shabbos. When the special soul leaves at the conclusion of Shabbos, our regular soul feels saddened at its loss. It feels saddened, it feels a void. It now has to go get back into the real mundane world. In order to comfort our remaining soul for the loss that it is feeling, we smell some fragrant spices which help it to soothe itself, and it soothes the soul from the loss that it has. But why the spices? How do physical spices make the spiritual soul feel any better? One of the qualities wherein the sense of smell stands apart from the other senses is that, unlike the other senses, the sense of smell is generally speaking, not subject to temptation. And the Kabbalists explain why. The sin of Adam and Eve, eating from the tree of knowledge, the very first day of creation, involved all human senses with the exception of one, and that is the sense of smell. The verse relates, the Torah tells us, that the woman saw the tree, that the tree was good to eat, it was desirable to the sight, there we've got the sense of sight. She took from its fruit, that is touch. She ate it, that's taste. And then they heard the voice of God. There you've got the sense of hearing. The senses of sight, touch, taste and hearing were all involved in the first sin. And they were the cause for all sin in the world. They were thus all affected by the first sin. They lost their spiritual sensitivity and they became subject to temptation. The sense of smell, which was not engaged in that first sin, was therefore not adversely affected by the sin. Consequently, the sense of smell remains essentially a spiritual sense, a sense which cannot be touched by evil, a sense from which the soul, rather than the body, derives benefit. So being fundamentally a spiritual sense, it is only the sense of smell that has the ability to impact the soul, and therefore we use it to comfort the spiritual soul for the loss that it is feeling with its companion, the additional Shabbos soul, having gone. But at the same time, we're sending a message to the soul. We're sending a message to the soul which is feeling despair as it moves away from the spiritual high of Shabbos into the mundane week and into the physical world around us. We say to it, there's no reason for great despair. Just as in this fleshy body that we have, it is possible to find a place, the sense of smell, which is untainted by any sin, so too in the mundane week, it's possible to find pockets of spirituality, pockets of goodness, uncorrupted by our materialistic world. And therefore, we're not separated from Shabbos, but Shabbos, the message of Shabbos, carries on throughout the week.